Modern technology, I guess. New and improved. Now, a little bit more. Morning, folks. Ah, there's somebody came in. There's a couple of somebody's came in. Dadgummit. The hat and my glasses ain't working together well. Good morning. So then I get my glass on, I see who it is. It looks like it says Bernie or something. Yep, Bernie. Jeffrey, good morning to you. I got a new phone I'm trying to figure out. When I started to come out here and found out with the OtterBox on it. Grandma got me an OtterBox for it. It didn't want to fit in my holder. And I'm not real good with them OtterBoxes. But I got enough of it off that I can put my phone in there. But where's everybody at and what you did it? Good morning, my brother. Y'all make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. West on 287 headed for Denver. Rode that road many a time. See, what is that, Cody? Oh, there's a old bar out that way. Can't think name that town. I never stopped there to eat or drink because it was always closed, but I slept there a time or two. I can't even think of it anymore. That's got to go. Going to buy more flowers and stuff today. Good thing y'all ain't buying none this year, Paul. Welcome to Transflow and Geotab. All right, Chris, what a deal. What up, Trucker Willie? Let's see what that is over there on the trailer. Me and Grandma's getting closer to being ready every day. Our soft target for Monday's not going to happen. So, our trailer repair guy had to take the trailer. Thank you, Paul. Setting in PA waiting to get empty since yesterday afternoon. Well, at least you'll get your 34 in, right? And I want to ask y'all, since Paul put that link up there, and I told him to last night, I'd like to ask y'all to get over there and join up on that Patreon site. It'll be supporting the company. It'll be supporting me and Grandma while we're out traveling. But my main goal is there are some videos that we would like to do that we want to do on Patreon. Supposed to be on the 28th. That sounds like trucking. Why are you jumping over my comment? I didn't even see your comment, Jim Dunn. Good morning to you, though. Nope, no comment there from Jim Dunn. Oh, there it is, Breaker 19. Good morning, Mr. Barr. I'm at home on a reset. Leaving back out tomorrow for Illinois. Morning there, Jim Dunn. Oh, well, at least Stormy's glad you're fixing to head back out. We've had so much we've been going at, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Paul, stick that Patreon link up again. If y'all would click on that, go over there and sign up. Me and Grandma's got uh, little bit of stuff we're wanting to do. Actually, it sounds like quite a bit. That we really want to do through the Patreon. Kimberly, what's up there? Yeah, I do miss my buddy. I talk about old pork chop quite often. Yep. He was a damn good man. He really was. Not today. We ain't doing that Mississippi roast. That Mississippi roast is good. Oh, honey, everybody that knew Kenny misses him. He had a big influence on a lot of people's lives. Oh, and he was the kind of man that he would literally give you the shirt off his back. And me and him met up through his grandpa. I guess what, your great grandpa. But Brother Marion, we met up through him at church. Brother Marion had told me a lot about him. I ain't even seen them new arc lights. I am a fan of the old Thomas and Edison lights, the old Thomas Edison bulbs. Once we get set up, we have something for the camper here. Oh, he's ornery as all get out. He's never been any more spoiled. Now, you know that Grandma Rose here, she was his first mama. We had his mama and daddy when he was born. And he was sure glad to see his first mama. And he's attached to her. You'd think there's a little string between them. He's fixing to be 10 or 11 years old now. The wife had never planned on getting rid of him. That's why we had him, because we had his daddy for 15 plus years. And Grandma wanted a pup from him. But your grandma was in dire need of a lap puppy. So the wife gave him to your grandma for a lap puppy. So she was glad he came back. So well, she called him Peepeye. He was born being called Bandit, Border Bandit. And she renamed him Peepeye because the way he'd peep out from underneath his covers at her on the bed of a night. And when he came back to us, he went back to being called Bandit. We turn that down just a little bit more. Right there. Oh yeah, if you don't get that regen in there, it's going to shut that truck down. So yeah, they was both glad they got reunited. Right now, he's the only dog we got left. And I tease him about being a dog. I got that from Pork Chop. Bandit's daddy, Scruffy. Kenny used to tease him, said he wasn't a K9, he was a K4.5. So I tease Grandma, because Grandma, she gets a little upset when I'm teasing this dog. I told her he's a K2.25. So he don't even know he's a dog. He thinks he's mama's baby. But it's all well. He's a spoiled little fart. Some things never change. Well, I'm glad that it touched your heart and made you think of the old boy. He's, I think about him a lot. Me and him used to spend hours a day on the phone. Even if we was traveling together, we didn't even bother with a CB. We'd be on the phone. Your grandma used to tease him. Morning, Carlos. Your grandma used to tease him about how many minutes we talked. Jim Dunn, why you want to get me put away for murder? I couldn't run teams with you. You'd start bouncing off them walls and I'd have to squish you to make you slow down. You ain't got all that weight to throw around. But yeah, Pork Chop, he's the only one Scruffy ever bit. Bit him twice, not much of a bite. Which that's what got me, and I don't know if you ever heard him say it, but it got him on a new saying. You know, I had his little saying. You ever been bit by an ugly dog? Because Bandit's daddy was ugly. Had two different kinds of hair on him, a short hair and then a real long hair that just went wild. He was Australian. No, he was, damn it. Now I can't think of what it was. I get off here and I'll think of it. But Italian Greyhound, that's what he mostly was. But Kenny had him inside his jacket. We would do one of our outside barbecues. You know, because we'd cook in the truck all day and then we'd stop overnight and barbecue our meat. And he had his two dogs running around. You know how they were. Well, Scruffy, he was always getting cold. So old Pork Chop, he picked him up and put him inside his jacket, you know, and he's holding him in that jacket for a long time. And we're eating. Food got done. And you know how Kenny was. He would share that food with his dogs. And he got sharing it with all three of them. So he's sitting here literally. Scruffy's in his jacket. And he's cutting that steak up and hand-feeding him a little bitty piece of that steak. Well, we got done eating, and I put Scruffy back in my truck, and was getting ready to go to bed, and Kenny comes over there, and he jumps up on the side of my truck, and he goes to reach inside the truck to pet Scruffy, which he knows you're not supposed to reach in another man's truck. And Scruffy nipped him. And, didn't even break the skin, you know. But that got it all started. You ever been bit by an ugly dog? I have. So he wound up doing that twice over the course of the summer. And then he'd say, you ever been bit by an ugly dog? I have twice. And as soon as Scruffy would do it, Kenny would tell me, oh, don't get on to him. That was me. That was my fault. I knew better. I thought, I ain't getting on to him. What are you doing trying to reach in my truck? Well, yes, me and your grandpa had a real good relationship. We talked a lot of Jesus Christ. You know, he had some stuff haunting him for a long time. And we would discuss different stuff. And we had a lot of Bible studies on Facebook. And I'd get different people in. I had several friends that knew the Bible real well and was of the cloth. And his biggest problem was when we started doing a study on the book of Job. Now, book of Job is a very hard book to read and understand. What people don't understand about the book of Job is back in those days, they really didn't have stuff wrote down. I mean, they had some, the most of important stuff. That's why you see them and hear about them reading the scrolls. Uh, so they would teach their heritage by doing poems or songs or a mixture of, and that's how the book of Job is wrote. It was wrote in one of them sing-song poem type things that help pass the history along. You know, it's kind of like when you go out camping and you sit around the campfire and you sing the old traditional camping songs. Well, they would sit around their fire, their table, whatever, and they would do these sing songs so the children would learn their history. They was not politically correct. It wasn't a cancel culture that was trying to cancel history. They tried to pass it along. And that's how the book of Job was wrote. Now that's just on the reading part. Then when you go trying to understand it, he had the biggest problem of why did God bring all these issues on Job? Why did he allow it to happen? God himself didn't bring these issues on, but he allowed the devil to. So I'm losing people left and right. I guess they didn't like hearing about the book of Job. Oh well. But yeah, he had issues trying to understand that. He was a good man. He really was. Had a big heart. Oh, Lordy. How many miles did he do? He drove for over 30 years, honey. He was way up in the millions. He really was. Not only did he drive much, he drove some real hard miles. So when he started driving was back when we could do a little bit of excessive driving. He was like me these last few years out there where we're doing the computer logs and all that. To us, you know, that was a slowdown. To so many of these new drivers out here, they thought it was increasing their miles. Me and him was both of an age where we wanted to slow down a little bit. And all this computerized trucking stuff forced us to slow down. Which you can get used to it after a little bit. And the last thing he did for me was got me into the rock and roll circuit. You know, he did that rock and roll for quite a while. Then he came out because of your grandma, when she had chemotherapy and stuff. He came off the road to be with her and help her. Then when he went to go back out, they changed the rules, the company rules, where he couldn't take his dogs. And he said, nope, no dogs, no me. So that's when I got him over there hauling boats with me. Well, to be correct, I got him hauling boats with a buddy of mine. I hadn't started hauling boats yet. I was still with Champion. Then I wound up going over there and hauling boats with him and Biggin. So, a lot of history to him. A lot of history to him. Good feller. Miss him bunches. Don't miss trucking, but I do miss him. Well, Jim Dunn, I ain't gonna go into that a whole lot. He's gonna spend his time in solitary confinement. They can't put him out in general population. He'll get killed. Oh, your father? Okay, honey, I can't keep you all straight. You know how our trucking was. We didn't make it in long. He visited his and I visited mine. Yeah, he did want to run. That's true. Oh, he was. He's an old biker, Paul. Like I said, he had issues, and we discussed a bunch of them. I ain't going into them on here, but he had some issues that haunted him since he was a child, and some of them was some pretty tough personal issues he had. And of course, like a bunch of us did back in the 60s and 70s, he self medicated. Oh, without a doubt, if they would give him a health card, he'd still be rolling. Well, he got me on with the Ariana Grande tour. That's how I got to do the rock and roll. It was on my bucket list. Yeah, I was down there at his house when he passed away. I was the one that called 911 and called your grandma and all that stuff. So that was a rough day right there. So he got me and our friend David to go do the show with him, and then he didn't make it out. He passed away while I was getting ready to go. Good morning, Dumpster. Better late than never. Today is our 29th anniversary and 32 years together. You're right up there with me and Grandma. Well, happy anniversary to you. No, no. I'm surprised you remember that. No, after I lost my son, I took such a downfall. I spiraled, and then I lost my dad, and then I lost Pork Chop, then I lost my favorite uncle, and I just went into a real bad downward spiral. A lady friend of mine in Arkansas, she helped me start turning it into a broadcast. So if you want to look it up, it's Cross Country Cooking with Papa Joe. Uh, and I just, my heart wasn't in it no more. And I continued to downward spiral, and my son harassed me on this YouTube thing, which this was supposed to start out as a cooking channel. And it's gone into a trucking channel, and we also worship the Lord. Brother Marion's still at work, huh? So no, I haven't done anything with it. Don't know if I will. It's out there, and I tell drivers about it. I think there's a link to it on this channel and on my Facebook, but I don't know how many people go there. I haven't been there in years. Cross Country Cooking with Papa Joe. Paul or Carlos, can either one of you stick up a link to that? I can't even think what you call it. Some days. Oh, we came up with quite a few. Uh, he was, he wasn't the best feller with words, so he wanted me to do the writing. And we would talk and one experiment with some of our cooking, of course. And if we came up with a recipe, then he was trying it, period. You know, cooking our cornbread out there in them little Burton stoves. Uh, Now, he loved that. We came up with a couple of dessert ideas and just different stuff. And if we was talking about it, and I was a little wishy-washy on if I wanted to try it, I guarantee you, he was cooking it and trying it. He's a pretty good cook. So, we had a blast. We really did. Good man. Miss him dearly. And he'll forever be a part of my life. So many times I go telling stories and he'll pop up in them. For those of you that's waiting on me to break into the preaching, I called this just talking this morning for a reason. Because I just wanted to shoot the bull a little bit. Me and Grandma's fixing to start the next stage of our life, next part of our adventure. Trailer's back from the repair shop. There's a couple little things that he has to stop by over here to do, but he brought it back so we could finish loading it out to go. So I thought I'd just shoot the bull, and Lord hadn't put nothing on me. Let's see, that's the YouTube channel. That's the playlist, okay. Well, loves and hugs to you, honey. Give the whole family my love, please. You know, there's several of them that know me. But glad you stopped in, and you're more than welcome every Sunday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern time. We're on here. Usually I'm doing a little preaching. So, you know, if you want to see a little bit of him and Brother Edgar, come on. Yeah, daughter-in-law of my best friend. That was cool. She stopped in. Well, his daddy had big regards for him too. Bragged about him a lot. Bragged about all the kids and grandbabies. Oh my Lord. He was nuts about them grandbabies. Yeah, I could talk about old pork chop for a bit. You know, folks, I'm not going to do a lot of preaching, but I will do a lot of talking. You know me. People so often want to know why a Christian man, a preacher, minister, whatever you want to call me, I don't care, as long as you don't call me late for dinner. They often wonder why we fold in some of the stuff that we do. They don't think you should talk about politics. They don't think that you should talk about what's going on in the real world, you know. Morning, Scott. They think that you should only talk about Jesus and God, how great God is, and how loving him and Jesus is, and how Jesus came to save us, and all of our fairy tale stuff according to them. Well, there are too many that thinks it's a fairy tale. But you know, if you really stop and read into the Bible, you will see where Jesus most definitely was into modern politics, their politics. He was into what was going on in the world. So when they ask us, well, that ain't very Jesus-like. You're not very Christian, are you? Well, I beg to differ. You know, if the world is not going right around us, according to the Bible, then we are supposed to call it out. So don't let them put you in a box and shut you up. So, you know, it's one of them deals where all this stuff going on with the cancel culture and all the sex identity and all this nonsense that we've got going today. It ain't right. And you're not supposed to just sit back and be silent. You're supposed to call it out. You're supposed to call out evil, sin, and all that stuff as you see it. You know, and in this world that we have here in the U.S., they want so bad to shut us up. Well, I'm fixing to move. That sun is cooking me. But they want real bad just to shut you and I up so that we're not preaching the gospel. The gospel is one of them deals where it calls out all the wrongdoings. I'm going to move. It'll take a minute and a couple of moves. Ah, but I got to get out of that sun. It was only 60, but whew, you put that sun on it. Sit down, tripod. Get rid of all my stuff. Started to set up here earlier. There we go. So anyway, they want very much so to shut us up, shut us down, and we don't, that ain't what we're supposed to be about. And if they have you to a point where you're afraid to talk about Jesus, if you're afraid to call out the sins that you see in the world, then you're letting the evil one win. Period. Now, I understand that it could cost you some friends and all that kind of stuff. I get that. All right, that does go up like it's supposed to. You might not be the most favorite person at the barbecue or at the family function, but you're doing what he told you to do. So, just a little thought there. That's one of my pet peeves. So, and we're fixing to have a noisy one go by here. It'll be as loud as you can. I really don't get that. I understood it when I was younger. Oh. Yep. Paul's putting up a little bit here. Jesus said in the scripture to call out evil. Yep. Jesus said the world will hate you when you follow me, but the world hated him first. And that's the truth. That's what I was getting at. I just hadn't put them words to it. Thank you, Paul. Oh. Good way to window the block. Okay. What up there, Michael? So for those of you that ain't been following along, we're hoping like Tuesday. Okay. Well, the thing is, Michael, right down the road, we got a cop lives there, a couple of them. And they let these cars get by with that right here all the time. I don't get it. But for those that don't know, me and Grandma's starting a new adventure in our lives. Something we've talked about for years. We sold our little property down there in Texas, and we bought us a decent truck and a decent trailer, not new. And we're going to go out and hopefully meet some of y'all and just do a little bit of sightseeing, a little visiting, and just a little something besides being in a big truck where the regulations are so tight that you can't do nothing. Her and I spent many a year out there on the road where trucks were not allowed. You'd see one that comes to mind is the Bonnie and Clyde Museum. I think that's in Mississippi. Big truck can't get over there. Ain't no way. So we never got to stop there. The Grand Canyon, any of the national parks and stuff. There might be a road where you can skirt the edges of them. Yellowstone Park is one of them. You can barely skirt it. Uh, but you can't get in to see the real deal. And that's some of the stuff me and Grandma want to do while we still got the health to do it. I want to stop by and visit with different folks. Possibly get in a little cooking with different folks. Possibly get talk a little bit of God with a few folks. And if I can get anybody to get on here and share the word, by all means, I'll ask them to do that. And even if they don't share the word, if it turns out where we can just sit there and shoot the bull like we are today and get their understanding on what they get out of the word, out of their relationship with God. There's so many people that God has really stepped up and helped in different ways. Actually, and I know he don't mind me saying so, Jim Dunn you see on here, he had some issues. And me, him, and one of his friends, we talked about it on the phone conference one night. We did a prayer, and lo and behold, Jim Dunn didn't have them issues no more. A little bit of a battle, don't get me wrong. But the good Lord stepped in there, and Jim Dunn gives him all the credit. He tries to give me and his buddy credit, and we're both like, no. He did it. All we did was talk to you and lead you down that path. So I would love to get some stories from some different folks that they can share their experience with God. You've heard plenty of mine. You know, I was not a good person at all. Bad temper and everything. Cuss like a sailor, and I still cuss once in a while. That's still a issue, but nothing like I did before. I still lose my temper once in a while, but nothing like before. Ain't nothing on my temper part. So, but I have them buttons. Well, if you're in Wisconsin, let me know. Would love to come break bread with you and Grandma. Well, that would be awesome, Barney. Well, and seeing that's the whole thing, is that's why I'm going to try to build up my viewers again. I've got a lot of subscribers, but this last year during COVID, I dropped the ball. I was trapped at the house. I was wallowing in my own pity party, and I didn't come on here and talk a lot, and the actual views dropped down drastically. So I have to try to build that back up, and hopefully y'all can track me through the videos on where we're heading to, and within reason, because this truck that I got, big old Hemi in it, it sucks up some gas. Pulling this RV, I'm in the single digits. And with this president that we have, I don't know about the gas prices and where they're going to go. So I don't know how much of that traveling we're going to do while he's in office. Hopefully, in 3.5 years, just over 3.5 years, we get a better person in there. Maybe one of the Trump family, or someone that of his ilk, to help some of these prices come back down. But we'll just have to wait and see what the finances allow us to do. But I would love so much for y'all to track me, keep up with me, and if I'm coming through your neck of the woods, give me a shout out. Wow, dropped down to 5 already. Goodness. I guess some of them expected me to break out into preaching. I didn't do it, and they left. Oh. Drops too much lower, I'll just go in the house with Grandma. So who we got left on here? Well, me too, Paul. I've been going stir crazy just sitting around with this COVID nonsense and getting stuff together. And Paul and Sheila will be the first ones we get to stop and see. I was going to stop and see Brandon and Destiny, but for whatever reason, he's fell out of contact with me. So we're going to drive right on by there and go see Paul. Nah, Carlos is still on here. In the long run, I hope to make it out there where Carlos is. I'd like to stop by in Albuquerque and see my brother, and I got 2 or 3 subscribers around there. Well, you can say good fellowship. You ain't seen Grandma get mad yet. I don't care how big a boy he is. That little Texas gal, she might put a whooping on you. If not, she might sick that killer dog on you. And I think he could make it above your boot top. Well, it depends on how tall your boots are. Oh. But yes, I am ready to take off and go do this deal. I really am. We got a little bit of odds and ends to take care of here in the next day or two, and we're hoping to pull out Tuesday. I just told Grandma this morning I didn't know if that was going to happen or not, but we'll see. We shall see. You know, not comparing myself to Jesus at all, so don't even go there. But Jesus did move around himself a lot. Different reasons. You know, he was trying to keep from the bad guys getting him, because they sure did chase him and try to set him up a lot. And his goal, his mission, was to spread the good news. And we go back to that where people say that you're supposed to do this, that, and the other to be Jesus-like. And they want to act like Jesus was in this little box and that he never went anywhere. And if you read the scripture, he was a traveling man. He traveled a lot. You know, he spread the word a lot. He was received well in most places, especially after he started doing his miracles and healings and whatnot. So, those of us that are Christians, that are trying to share the word, the gospel, the good news, just remember, Jesus traveled like the majority of my subscribers on here are truck drivers. And they shared the word, or they should share the word as you're going down the road. Ain't much need doing it on the CB anymore. There ain't too many people on there. But anything you can do to bring a light to him is a good thing. And that's what I hope to do, is help to bring a light to him. So keep us in your prayers, please. So. Anything in particular y'all want to talk about? And I am going to stick another plug in there because I don't know who's coming, gone, and all that. The Patreon link that Paul put up earlier, I want to encourage y'all to get on that. Me and Grandma have some different arts and crafts and stuff that we're going to be doing. And it'll be slow at first, and we'll move our way up. But some of that stuff that we want to do, we want to offer to our, good morning, Ralph. We want to offer up to our subscribers that are supporting the channel. And that's what the Patreon page does. It helps support the channel. And there for a little while, we was painting different Christmas ornaments. And we want to get into doing that, painting Christmas ornaments again. Some birdhouses and whatnot. And there'll be other things that we want to do along the way for our arts and crafts. And like with Paul and Sheila, they're talking about a couple real cool antique shops. You know, I would love to be able to go out antiquing. Me and Grandma are antique fanatics. We're junkyard fanatics, whatever you want to call it. We love going around them old shops, and we would get stuff for us. Well, we ain't got room to get stuff for us, but if I'm messing around in one of them and I find something cool, I'd like to be able to pick it up and pass it along to my subscribers, should anybody think that it's cool. Now, along with that, for me to do videos on that Patreon page, then I have to have so many subscribers. Just like on YouTube, I had to get up so many subscribers before I could do live streams. Well, it's the same thing over there. So I'm really going to have to be pushing that Patreon page over the next while and see if I can get some of y'all to come over there where I can start doing live streams over there. That is one of my goals for this summer, is be able to do live streams on Patreon. So, if you would please, go sign up over there. And they will ask you to make a contribution to the channel. And it can be anywhere from $1 on up. So don't hurt yourself. You know. I see his exhaust hanging, so he ain't doing it on purpose. So anyway, don't hurt yourself on it. Give what's on your heart. You know, if you can only afford $1, hey, cool. Dollars add up. If you can afford more, well, cool. That's appreciated too. But that's going to be twofold. That's going to help us with our adventures and get us farther down the road. And it's going to open it up where I can start doing a live stream on the Patreon page. So, and I think you have to have over 1,000 people or something. And I had half a dozen or something. I ain't sure what it's at now. Which I can't complain. Like I said, I let the channel go down. It's all my fault. Well, now I'm trying to build it back up. Busy street here. I'm here to tell you. So anything y'all want to talk about? Instead of just listening to me ramble on? Boy, y'all ain't typing very quick this morning. I got a ton of work to do. I hear you. Well, I got some kind of frozen sandwiches in the freezer in there. We're trying to use up stuff out of the freezer and icebox before we leave. And I might have me a frozen sandwich. I'll microwave it first, thank you. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out of here and going to do our thing. This first adventure, which we don't plan on getting back here until like September, but it's going to be basically getting settled into the trailer, getting settled into this road life. This is a new kind of road life. It ain't a big truck. Some of the people I've talked to, they're like, oh man, just you and the wife trapped in a trailer all that time? That could be a divorce. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We traveled in a truck, a semi, for years. And we're still married. This is bigger than that. The only difference is when she gets mad at me, she can't go into sleeper if we're traveling down the road. Yes, sir. Well, we was at the gas station the other day, yesterday actually, and I'm fueling the truck. Old boy's in line behind me. The guy in front got done and pulled out, so I waved that guy around. Now, there's no way you're within 6 foot of anybody, and he gets out putting his mask on. Really. You know, people have been so trained. We took the grandkids out to dinner Friday night, and I literally had to call 2 of them down because they're wanting to pull their mask down, take a bite of food, put their mask up, and then try talking. Well, now, first, you shouldn't talk with food in your mouth. And secondly, I can't understand you trying to talk through that mask. Take your mask down. You don't need it in here. But they are so trained. Now, they explained to me that they're back in regular school, live school, and this is what they have to do at school. Well, bummer. Oh, I keep moving that, try to keep that sun out of y'all's eyes. So they're getting the world trained, big time. Well, we went to leave a place yesterday. A little bitty short black lady walked up to the grandma's window, passenger window, and we're used to seeing panhandlers everywhere. That's just the world the way it is today. And if the Lord puts it on me to help you, I'll help you. With her, the first things out of her mouth is, I would ask y'all to not look at my skin color and judge me by my skin color. Playing the race card automatically. Automatically. And she has a sob story. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. So I said, here. I gave her what money I had in my pocket, $12, which to me, that's pretty damn good panhandle. And Grandma handed it to her and says, here, I hope this helps. Well, a little bit. Really? Really? What do you want me to do? Fill your car up for you? Not at the prices of your president's gas. So the world's being trained. And they try to break it down to each individual. I didn't say nothing to her about it. I just gave Grandma the money who gave it to her, and we let it go at that. You know? And the race baiting that they do all over the place drives me crazy. There are a couple other stories I could tell, but I won't. I'm not your huckleberry when you want to play the race card. You need to talk to somebody else. I'm not guilty of nothing. You know, and speaking of which, all this nonsense about this race baiting and feeling guilty about the blacks in America 200 years ago being slaves, or however long ago it was, you know, guess what? As long as man's been around, people have been slaves forever. And every race has been slaves. And even God's people were slaves. You know, it's been going on pretty much since the beginning of man. Pretty much, I said. You know, so what makes our short history of slavery here in the U.S. anything special? So because we had slaves at one time, now they want to say what a hateful country we are, how bad we are. Well, what about the other countries? Britain had slaves for a while. You know, Egypt and all them, they had slaves for a while. Well, are all countries that had slaves bad now? No. Neither is our country. So, if you come at me with this nonsense and tell me how bad our country is, you're not going to like the response. I happen to love my country. Not my government, but I do my country. So, it is what it is. I had me one of them refried bean tacos from the Love yesterday, not recommended. Well, if you're talking about those on the roller items, those ain't tacos. Those are supposed to be a burrito. And you're right, it's all tortilla. And I don't know what kind of dog meat they put in there, but they're definitely not worth the money. And they're not very good. So, if you're one of them going to holler about how it made you run to the bathroom so much, just wait a while. Your stomach can get used to that trash you eating out there on the road. You need to learn to eat better. Of course, they ain't been out there on the road to see what's available to us. Uh-huh. Well, that's rough on a sleeper. That'll make your girlfriend want to leave. Make your puppy dog bite you. Well, I know I didn't do no real preaching this morning. I just wanted to visit a little bit, shoot the bull. Woke yourself up? I'm going to leave that one alone on this morning's video, live stream. See how good I can be? Don't mind me, I'm looking at stuff here on my trailer, on my hitch. Well, she might have accepted, but Grandma don't get on Facebook very often. Mostly it's when I tell her I shared something to her wall she needs to go look at. Then she might spend a few minutes. That's how she found your friend request. So don't think you'll have an active relationship with her on there. All right, folks. We've been on here pretty near an hour. I got lots of stuff I need to do today. 2 years ago, Paul, see, I told you she don't get on often. Being that she's heard you on the phone, you're lucky she accepted yours. Now, she likes Sheila, but she ain't so sure about you. Now, I totally get it. Well, anything anybody want to throw out there right quick before I get off here? Traffic's only going to keep getting worse today. Don't mind me, I'm plotting and planning here. The trailer guy brought the trailer back yesterday morning in the rain. And I'd already told him what a pain our driveway was here. He backs trailers up and stuff for a living. And he couldn't get that trailer in our driveway for nothing. So he pulled it down past the driveway and asked me to hook my truck up to it. So he dropped it right there in the road. And you hear how busy the road is. And I hooked up to it. I backed up past our driveway and already had in my head what needed to be done. I've only done it once, so it's not like I'm that experienced getting it in our driveway. But years of doing that kind of nonsense, judging driveways and maneuvering around stuff, I got it in there. I had to kick it in four-wheel drive to get over in the mud. It wasn't really mud, but it's potential to be. It's dirt yard in that section with rain on it. But I put her in here and had to do one pull-up to get it where I wanted it. And he was like, man, years show there. So I had that to tease him about. Kind of like an old truck. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm going to get off here and let y'all be. And y'all enjoy your Sunday. Remember, good Lord loves us. Love you all too. Y'all have a blessed day now. Thanks for joining. Bye.